technologist David Keller.
Schrock Innovations presents the Midwest's #1 independent computer repair company with service centers in Lincoln, Omaha, Papillion, Des Moines, and across the country via the Schrock desk. This is Compute This.
Good morning, folks, and welcome into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. We have 4 locations, as the big voice guy told you there, to help you out when your computer is having trouble, when maybe you have a technology question, when something isn't quite going your way, with the PC or the Mac. We're here to help you out with that whenever you need it at Schrock Innovations. In Lincoln, we're just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. In Omaha, we are at 168th and Burke Street, just across the street from the Village Point Mall. In Papillion, 84th and Highway 370 in the Midlands Place Shopping Center. And, of course, the newest Schrock location in West Des Moines, Iowa, 9500 University Avenue. All those locations are open. They're all open 6 days a week. Most of them are open 7. Des Moines is still a little light. We're still getting people into place there to get that shop opened up to its full 8 p.m. and open on Sundays. Right now it's kind of like Chick-fil-A, We close at 6 and we're closed on Sunday. But we'll get the staff we need and get back up to there. It's better to have the staff that you want rather than the staff that you need. Trust me on this one. We've been down the road in the past where you hire people who aren't exactly what you're looking for because you need someone to fog a mirror. And it doesn't quite work out in the end of the day for you. Imagine that. All right, so last week on the program, for those of you who are watching, right now I want to tell everybody that we are broadcasting live at facebook.com/Schrock Innovations, facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. That's where you can check out the show live if you want to watch the program. Also, if for some reason you don't do the Facebooky thing or you just can't watch right now and you prefer to pick it up later, we will post all the videos to our website at SchrockInnovations.com after the program, where you can watch, listen. Of course, all the podcast services are there as well for the audio to your heart's content. Now, last week on the program, if you did miss the show last week, it was a good one. I encourage you to go back and take a look at it on the website. Last week, we warned you to patch your AVG and Avast. There was a patch that was released a few months back, actually, that plugged a hole that's been allowing potentially people to circumvent those programs for over a decade. So like we've always said, with the free antivirus, you kind of get what you pay for. It's better than a poke in the eye with a sharp stick, but I'm not exactly lining up for that either. Now, also, we told you about the new Sophos anti-remote login protection that we're implementing at Schrock. That stuff is in full swing now and doing really well. So basically what this does, we have customers, no matter how many times I get on the radio and say, hey, if the Microsoft guy calls you, don't let him remote in. He's not the Microsoft guy. We will have customers who are having trouble setting up their new Netgear router, and so there's an 800 number on the back of the packaging, and they call the number. If you misdial by 1 digit, you get a scammer who says they're support, but they're actually one of these tech support scammers, and you're going to let them remote in because they're trying to help set up your router. Basically, what the new protection built into Sophos does is it will prevent anybody from remoting into your computer except for Schrock. Now, this is not like an anti-competitive thing, right? So if you had another computer repair service and you wanted to let them remote into the computer, even though you're protected by our Sophos, all you have to do is give us a call and we'll turn it off, basically, so they can remote in. So if you had somebody from work trying to remote in, just give us a call. We'll turn it off. They can remote in. The reason we're putting this step in the process, and I'll share this story with you. My grandmother-in-law, she was dealing with somebody on the phone, and I forget the exact circumstances, but it was a pretty convincing scam. She was in her mid-80s. She was going to the Walmart to buy a money pack for $425. And the cashier at the Walmart looks at her and says, this older woman needs a money pack for $425. What in the world would she need a money pack for $425? 80-year-old white grandma in rural Illinois. What is she doing with a money pack? So the cashier just asked her, what are you doing? And she said something like, I need to send this in to keep my Social Security coming or keep my Medicaid coming or something like that. And the cashier was like, hold on a second, you're getting scammed. And literally saved her $425. Now, that sounds like an extreme example, but guys, that happens all the time. We literally get calls in each of our service centers every day from people who are in the process of getting scammed or have been scammed and have had to go back and cancel credit cards and charge things back and do all kinds of different things to try to secure themselves again afterward. And then they bring their computer into us for us to secure the computer. And while we have it on the bench, the remote scammers are logging back into it on the bench, blacking the screen, taking over, saying, hey, let us back in. We need to finish this thing. You didn't pay us, that kind of thing. And we have to get all their software and clean it up and make sure that you're secure after that. Well, what this new protection from Sophos does is it stops that from happening. We act like that cashier at the Walmart, where we're just asking you to take one step to say, before you let somebody remote into your computer, why don't you talk to somebody who knows what's what? So when you call us and say, yeah, I have to let somebody remote into my computer and I need you to disable the Sophos stuff. Oh, sure, no problem. And you're not asking permission to do it. I don't want to give you the impression that we're going to say no. If you tell us to do it, it's your computer, we'll do it. But it adds that extra step for us to be able to say, you realize that IP addresses can't actually get infected, right? Like that's not a thing. That's a scam. This is a scam. Microsoft doesn't call you ever. This is a scam. Netflix doesn't call you. It's a scam. These are scams. So, just shared it on Facebook a couple days ago. I got an email that my Norton LifeLock subscription was expiring and I needed to renew it or my devices would be unprotected. For any of you listening to the program for a while, you know that Norton LifeLock is the last thing. I'd run a Vast before I paid for Norton LifeLock. It was laughable. And so I tap on the reply to address and they didn't even bother to mask their reply to address. It's some weird email address. I took a screenshot and posted it up on Facebook because this happened. We get these emails too, guys. They try to scam us as well. We laugh about it and we delete the email. But some people actually are like, oh no, and they click the link and it takes them to a very Norton looking page. And then they type in their credentials to log in. And then they're like, oh, I have to pay this $450 bill to keep my protection. Well, shoot, I guess it's protecting, 119 devices in my house or whatever the current number is they use to try to keep you, on the hook. I guess I better renew. And then you pay these people $400 and something and they're not really Norton. They just take your money. Similar scam was going around with utilities last year, where you'd get a call from the electric company saying you're behind on your electric bill, and if you don't pay up right now, we're going to disconnect your electricity this afternoon. How would you like to pay today, with a credit card or with a checking account? And it wasn't really the utility company. It was a scam. So, these scams are everywhere, but this is just one more thing that we can do at Schrock to keep your technology safe, to put one more barrier up between you and between an elderly grandmother, for example, like my great-grandmother, an elderly grandmother and the world out there. One more check to stop that with you. One more check to stop your mom or your dad from getting scammed. Because my dad, when he was alive, he almost got scammed. He had some guy talking to him, and he goes, yeah, he had like a foreign accent, but I know that some of the guys working for you at Schrock are, from Venezuela and stuff, so I figured maybe it was one of those guys. So I asked him, are you with Schrock? And they said, yeah, we're with Schrock. They were not with Schrock. Then they tried to charge my dad money, and my dad was like, after everything I've done for you. No, he wasn't like that. But no, he knew something was up because I'd never charged him anything for any kind of computer help, obviously. So he knew something was up then, and he didn't pay. And then he hung up the phone and he called back and he goes, did you have some guys call me? I'm like, no, why would I have guys call you, Dad? Well, they said my stuff was infected. I'm like, oh boy. So yeah, even my dad got scammed. So they're having that one extra check and balance, even when you think you've got everybody instructed, because these guys are really convincing, is really handy to have. So that is now included with every single Sophos subscription that Schrock Innovations provides to every subscriber. Not to mention that maybe you're not a subscriber to Sophos right now. One of the things that makes Sophos so different from Norton LifeLock, from AVG, from Avast, from Malwarebytes, from WebRoot, from McAfee, all these other different antivirus programs, because there's a ton of them out there. How do you know which one is best for you? All the other ones that I mentioned are solely definition-based. What that means is somebody out there has to get infected, then that infection is submitted to the antivirus company for research. They look into it, they say, oh, look at this virus, and then they create a definition to instruct everybody else's program on how to identify that, almost like your immune system. Someone's got to get infected, then they make an inoculation, and then boom, there you go. The problem is, though, that process of analyzing it creating an update, pushing the update out to people. Even if you get 4 updates a day for your antivirus, which most don't, most are daily, but Norton is 4 a day at least. Even if you're getting 4 a day, what ends up happening is the bad guys, they have a computer sitting on their desk infected with their own virus. And they've got all the antivirus programs loaded on it. And as soon as one of them goes, bing, hey, you got a virus, then they know, hey, Norton just built a detection for our virus. Let's change the virus a little bit, load it back on the computer. Oh, look, it doesn't get detected anymore. How about that? Release the new virus. So within 15 minutes of them pushing an update, the virus has changed and back out in the wild again. So if you're relying on a definition-based antivirus, you're protected, half an hour out of every 4 hours of the day? And the other 3.5 hours, you're swinging in the wind. I mean, it's bad. So what Sophos does that is different is it is an AI-based antivirus product. Let me give you an example. Most human beings are not capable of opening 1,000 files a minute, changing those files, and then saving them again. In fact, if we start to see that happening on a computer, that is a telltale hallmark of ransomware. Opening your files, encrypting them, and saving them so that you can't open them later. So if Sophos sees a program analyzing, accessing, modifying, and saving file after file after file, Sophos says, this quacks like a duck. Let's stop it. I think it's ransomware. And it does. And then it submits it. Then there's a definition set for Sophos as well, but it's a secondary protection set. So what we're trying to do with Sophos is we're trying to add some human thought back into some common sense into your antivirus protection, as opposed to being a bunch of if-then rules. If this file exists, then you are infected. If this behavior is present, then you could be infected, and we need to try to stop it until we know for certain. Now, additionally, what makes Sophos different is we then back it up at Schrock Innovations with all of our teams at every location. If something pops up on your computer, if you have Norton or AVG or Avast or McAfee, you get a pop-up on your screen. You might be infected. What do you want to do? Do you want to clean the virus? Because it's dirty. Do you want to exclude the virus? Because excluding is bad. Nobody wants to be excluded, right? You click exclude. That means never scan for it again and leave it on the computer forever. Oops. Don't click exclude. How do you unclick exclude? Can you even unclick exclude? I don't know. Do you have to reinstall the whole software and then it forgets everything it's learned up to that point? I don't know. When those kind of things happen, because they happen to everybody, even with Sophos, you don't see the pop-up on your screen. We get the pop-up on our screen. And then we are able to build up over time this group of rules that are specific to Schrock Innovations and our customers, where if we see this, then do that. And then when we see something new, it pops up and we're like, hey, what is this? This is interesting. It happens like once a week, though. There's not that much new under the sun. It's the same scams, the same things over and over in different forms. Once you teach the software how to do what it does, you've got a lot of protection. So not only do you have the definition protection that you would get from every other antivirus product, you have an additional layer of AI protection, computer intelligence that's watching what's going on and trying to understand why what is happening so that it can make decisions to protect you. Then on top of that, you have a layer of actual human intelligence that's saying when something happens that the computer AI doesn't know what to do with, then we will teach the computer AI how to handle that in the future to make it smarter. So the longer Sophos runs and the more customers we have on Sophos, the smarter it gets. We have over 6,000 customers on Sophos right now, so it's pretty darn smart. And you could be one of them too. Now, right now we have Sophos on special this month. Normally it's $160 the first year to put it on one device. So this is not like you put it on one and you can have it on 5 kind of deal, because we're actively monitoring that device. We are actively protecting that device. So normally it's $160. After that, the renewals are actually pretty reasonable. It's $70 a year compared to Norton LifeLock. Norton LifeLock is as much as $250 a year. So, it's pretty reasonable when it comes right down to it. Not to mention the fact that if you get infected, you're going to spend way more than that cleaning it up. So it's better just to prevent it from happening altogether. But right now, this month, we have it on special for $99 instead of $160. So it's like 37.5% off, because we obviously did it for the $99 part and not the 37.5% off, because that's a weird mouthful of percentages. And who put something on special for 37% off? You know, the accountant said 38 was too much, so 37 it is. But you can save some money, and that's what it's all about right now, especially in this economy. I'm sitting down for 2 years ago, we did a complete budget run through Schrock, where we sat down and said, this is what it costs for us to turn on the lights in a service center. And now 2 years later, we sat down and said, it's time to do that again. So I'm going through and doing it, and I have to tell you guys, it's up like the cost to run the service centers are up like 20%. It's no joke, between electricity, between fuel for vehicles, cost of vehicles, debt service, the whole bit. It's all up. And as a result, it costs more to run a service center. So we're not unique in that regard. Every business is going through that right now, and every consumer is going through that also. And so the difference here is we're still trying to find ways to find win-win situations where we can provide you with a deal, save you a little bit of money, and give you a great product that you can believe in. And that's what we're trying to do with Sophos right now. So if you have one of those old antivirus products on your computer that was designed for the dinosaur days, when viruses would come once a week and then they would never get edited or changed after that, if that's the kind of protection you have, you need something better. And now you can save $60 basically to get into Sophos if it's something you want to do right now. You can get Sophos on our website at SchrockInnovations.com, or you can just reach out to the service centers. We can do it right over the Schrock desk. So you don't even have to come into the service center if you don't want to. Also, you should be running Sophos on your tablets and phones as well. Just as important. It's actually even cheaper to run it on the tablet and the phone. So it's an important thing to have done there also. Number to join us on the program this morning, 888-250-2091. Quick program note, Compute This is live every Sunday morning from 7 to 8 a.m. in Omaha. When you call 888-250-2091 between 7 and 8 a.m., you get on the radio. The rest of the time, you get a busy signal. So we're just really that busy, okay? So give us a call between 7 and 8, and we'll put you on the air. You have a shot at winning a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. Good for anything your heart desires in the service center. We put a credit on account for you, and you're good to go there. So if you have something, question, a comment, if you had a feedback from service in the service center, anything like that you want to share with us on the program, I'd encourage you to give us a call at 888-250-2091. All right, we're going to take a quick break on the program. When we come back, Elon, you got to have your Elon headline every week, right? Elon says the Twitter deal is kind of sort of maybe on hold because the company made a morally bad decision, foolish in the extreme, and flat out stupid. What? What happened? We're going to tell you what's going on with Twitter coming up next on Compute This.
Schrock Innovations can't teleport technicians to you, but online help is only a click away with the Schrock Desk. Subscribe today and get unlimited help whenever you need it. In 1798, Eli Whitney's Connecticut Musket Factory was the first business in North America to use replaceable parts in a firearm. Before Eli's factory, if your musket broke, you had to send it away to an expert gunsmith for repairs, or just toss it and buy a new musket. Technology manufacturing has come a long way since the 18th century, but you wouldn't know it by looking at today's big box store computers. Dell, HP, Sony, and other manufacturers continue to take away your freedom to upgrade and repair your computer by eliminating expansion and repair options. Some desktops are even powered by a tiny laptop adapter. Schrock Innovations believes in Eli Whitney's idea of interchangeable and replaceable components, and that's why our custom-built modular computers last longer and cost less to repair than computers you see at big box stores. Ask your friends and family how often they replace their box store computers, and they'll probably tell you every couple of years. And what do they do with the old machines? They just get thrown out like broken muskets. Imagine a place where your computer's problems can be fixed quickly and inexpensively. Imagine keeping your computer for 6 years or more. You are imagining the kind of computers we build every day at Schrock Innovations. Our modular systems last longer, perform faster, and cost less over the long term than anything you can buy at a big box store. While the talented technicians at Schrock Innovations can't make you a musket even if they tried, our commitment to the freedom offered by modular computers is the modern-day extension of Eli's innovative musket factory. We think Eli Whitney would be proud, and you can take pride in owning a small piece of American innovation. The modular computer from Schrock Innovations. Compute This Pro Tip 843. Of all computer failures, the scariest and most expensive is the hard drive. But there are some steps you can take to save money and save your data before it's too late. Detecting failures early is important, so install a free utility like Drive Advisor from driveadvisor.com to monitor your hard drive's health and receive warnings when there's a problem. But most of all, hard drive failures happen slowly, so early detection is key to reducing the repair bill. Second, if your hard drive makes any unusual noises, immediately turn off your computer and do not turn it on again. These issues are physical problems, and the more you try to use it, the worse the damage becomes. Remember that most computer repair shops do not have the specialized equipment needed to recover data from a failed drive. Never open your drive or allow anyone else to do so. Opened drives always cost more to recover. Schrock does not charge for data recovery evaluations and quotes, so let the local pros look at your drive before you make any recovery decisions. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back into Compute This. My name's Thor Schrock, and I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company, where we get up every morning to work on your computers and make sure that your digital life is working the way you want it to do. Some mornings are earlier than others, and some of us get up earlier than others, but thank you for getting up and being with us here this morning. 888-250-2091 is the number to join us. A quick program update on Freedom Modular. For those of you who have listened to the program for a while, you know that Freedom Modular is our new, it's a kind of a cross between computer leasing and computer renting. It's a program where you can have a monthly fee for your computer that you can use any way you want. If it breaks, we fix it. If, literally, you have no headaches, no worries. It's all under warranty the entire time. You pay, $25, $30 a month for your computer. And at the end of the term, which is, I think, 36 months, so it's about how long most Nebraskans keep their computer anyway. At the end of the term, you can choose to just keep using the computer and keep paying the monthly fee, or you can trade in and get the newest computer that's out and just pay the same fee. It's pretty awesome, actually. You always have the newest computer if you want it. You never have to worry about being obsolete or outdated or having to buy a new computer because a new version of Windows is coming out. It's a pretty slick idea, if I do say so myself. And we've been trying to make this happen for years. So we have a sign-up sheet at SchrockInnovations.com. If you go to our products, you can find Freedom Modular there. Complete the sign-up sheet if it's something that you would be interested in participating in. We are getting very close. We're doing the back-end testing this week on building the computers on the back end. Basically, the stuff that you can include in your monthly payments are non-consumable items. So we have to identify what the consumables are. For example, you can't lease or rent a surge protector or a printer. Because they're used up, right? When you're done with them, they're shot. And so it doesn't make any sense to do that, because then how does the warranty work? If you run out of ink in your printer, do we have to give you a new printer? How does that work? So there are some things that you can't include and some things you can. So we're doing all the background testing on that. And then we're going to change over and put in the front end testing, so that way you can go onto our website at SchrockInnovations.com and actually build the computer you want and see what the monthly payment would be under Freedom Modular. So it's a pretty sweet deal. What we're going to be doing is, once we have that front end developed, the people who have signed up to be on the waiting list will be contacted, so where they can go build their computer on the website if they want, or they can come into the service center and we'll build it with them, and then we'll see what the monthly payment is and see if they want to move forward. So it's a pretty neat idea. Trust me, guys, it's not World Economic Forum stuff. You'll own nothing and be happy. It's not like that. This is intended to be something for people. I have customers who you're talking to them about buying a computer, and you're like, well, you can use Windows 10 till 2025. And they're like, well, I'm 84 years old, so 2025 could be a lifetime away, literally, for me. And you're like, oh, okay, well, I guess you'll stay on Windows 10. Sometimes people make decisions that are shorter term in nature for reasons. And sometimes people want to be able to have the security of a fixed monthly payment for technology they know is going to work. That makes sense for some people. Other people, they would prefer to own their equipment. And for those people, we will still sell equipment. So it basically gives you a choice of which way you want to go, and whichever way you choose, it works out really well. The Freedom Modular program is perfect for people who are on a budget or a fixed income. It works out really well. So I'd encourage you to check it out. You can join the waiting list at SchrockInnovations.com. Click on products, go to Freedom Modular, and it's just a sign-up list. You put in your email address, and boom, you're on the list. And then when it's ready to go public, we'll give you a buzz. All right, 888-250-2091. Elon says the Twitter deal is on hold. Now, there's a lot of speculation as to why he put this on hold, or it may put this on hold. He didn't really come right out and say it. He's had a lot to say about Twitter, though. For example, he said that if he bought Twitter, he would reinstate President Trump's Twitter account, which is a pretty big deal. He said that the decision to permanently ban Donald Trump, or anybody for that matter, but especially a sitting president from Twitter, was a morally bad decision, foolish in the extreme, and flat out stupid. Stupid from a business perspective, because look at how many people that Twitter alienated that could have been tweeting every day and being a part of the platform and looking at ads and everything. So kind of crazy there. But there's a lot of speculation as to why Elon might want to back out of the deal. Number one, tech stocks right now are not doing well. And as a result, he's pledged a lot of Tesla stock as collateral for the loans he's going to get to buy Twitter. As the value of Tesla stock declines, the value of the collateral declines, requiring him to either put up more cash or pledge more stock. And then if something would happen with Twitter and he would have to sell that stock, that could cause the price of Twitter stock to decline precipitously. And so you got to be careful there. Number two, he came up with a price of like $54.20 per share for Twitter. Tech stocks are tanking right now. So that price is unusually high right now for a share of Twitter. So he might be trying to negotiate a lower share price in his offer here. That could be a possibility. Number three, Twitter came out and said that only 5% of its user base are non-humans, are bots. Accounts that are putting up fraudulent tweets. Only 5%. That is dramatically higher than what lower than what Elon estimated. If that is the case, it might be more difficult than Elon anticipated to, turn Twitter around, because if there's only 5% as bots, well, you clean that up pretty quick. And then all of a sudden you're left with the harder stuff to do. Whereas if 25, 30% of it is bots and you clean that up real quick, that's a huge measure of progress. So there's a lot going on behind the scenes here. My guess, though, and then if you look at what's happening at Twitter, crazy people are getting fired. People are choosing to leave the company. Crazy people are leaving the company. The CEO is suddenly becoming frugal. He's dealing with the real estate overages and everything else. So Twitter's books are getting better just because Elon is threatening to buy them. And conservative followers are ballooning right now because they're worried that when Elon comes in, he's going to look at everything that's going on and expose it. So they're cleaning up their own act in anticipation of the purchase. So there's some good things happening just from him threatening this, which could have been the aim all along as well. So who knows what's going on there? Only time will tell, but we'll follow it for you and keep you up to speed on everything that's going on. 888-250-2091. Got to take our bottom of the hour break. Steve, stay on the line with us. Your call is coming up next on Compute This.
If you can dream it, Schrock Interactive's website developers can make it happen. Refresh your website, automate sales and marketing, and grow your business today with Schrock Interactive. Every person listening to this broadcast has either experienced data loss or knows someone who has. When you think about it, you have a lot more data stored in many more places than you'd like to admit. Have you downloaded those videos from your phone, backed up the pictures on your iPad, or even tackled that sometimes daunting task of backing up your entire computer's hard drive? Most people just don't back up their stuff, and that's why Schrock Innovations has one of the most advanced data recovery centers in the Midwest. Equipped with the latest DDI data imaging devices, state-of-the-art custom recovery software, and Omaha's best data recovery technicians, Schrock Innovations has a 96.8% success rate when recovering data from damaged hard drives, flash drives, camera cards, and more. We all know we should back up our data, but if you are ever caught in a data loss nightmare, call the experts at Schrock Innovations to get your data back right where it belongs, safe and backed up on a stable hard drive. Compute This Pro Tip 578. Technology is constantly changing, so how can you tell when the time has come to recycle your old outdated computer and invest in a new one? Experts have rules of thumb and formulas, but Schrock believes the answer is simple. You should replace your old computer when it can no longer do the things you need in a secure way. For example, you should not be using operating systems like Windows XP or Vista because they're no longer maintained by Microsoft and they're not secure. And if your computer cannot run Windows 10, it's probably time to begin saving for a replacement. If your existing computer requires a repair and that cost is 50% or more of the cost of a new computer, it might be time to consider a replacement. But keep in mind, additional costs like data transfers and important software you have to upgrade like genealogy software or Quicken. And also keep in mind that modern computers are engineered to last 18 months for a normal user. And don't worry, you are considered a normal user. Schrock modular PCs and solid-state laptops are specifically designed to last 4 to 6 years for that same normal user, saving your family money and time. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
I'm Karen McHugh. Mass murder in Buffalo, New York, Saturday in what police are calling a hate crime. A gunman kills 10 and wounds 3, and it was all live streamed.
Police are still in the beginning stages of their investigation as alleged videos of the event are circulating online, and police say the 18-year-old white male identified as Peyton Gindren drove for hours to carry out his attack in a predominantly black neighborhood. This horror began around 2:30 p.m. and witnesses described seeing the shooter walk into the store with a semi-automatic weapon and wearing tactical gear. Police say after his shooting spree, the gunman threatened to shoot himself. That was before eventually dropping his gun and surrendering.
Fox's Ashley Strohmeyer. As fighting continues in the nearly 3-month-long war between Russia and Ukraine, Finland has announced that it is applying for membership in NATO. Sweden plans to announce its intentions on joining the alliance later today. America is listening to Fox News.
Now, the News Radio 1110 KFAB Weather Watch.
Scattered showers with an isolated thunderstorm will move in for the mid-morning hours with temperatures in the mid-60s, drying out with some sunshine for the afternoon hours, a high around 70 degrees. Clear overnight and cooler with a low of 48. Sunshine Monday and much warmer, a high around 81. With Omaha's most accurate forecast, I'm 6 News First Alert meteorologist David Keller.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company, where we do things a little bit differently than every other computer repair shop out there. Let me give you one example. I had a couple that came in to the Lincoln Service Center when I was closing it the other day. It was like 7:30. They came in the door and they had a laptop, and they literally wanted me to replace a video cable in the laptop. It was a Lenovo laptop with a touch screen. It would have been a lot of work to take it all apart and, a couple hours of labor, put the cable in, the whole bit. And it looked like it was a cable that was faulty. And I was trying to explain to them that included in that time, that 2 hours of labor, we were going to test everything. We're going to test the AC adapter. We're going to test the DC jack. We're going to test the battery. We're going to test the hard drive. We're going to test the memory. We're going to make sure that the cooling system is working fine. Because if any of those things are bad in the laptop, that might impact whether or not you decide to do the cable for the screen. And these people were adamant. No. We don't want you to do anything like that. You cut all that out. Save us an hour of labor. Take an hour off and don't do any testing. And, we won't do that at Schrock. We literally won't do that. We're like, nope, sorry. We have to do these tests. That's part of the labor. It's not the entire hour. It's not like there's an hour of labor built into every job that we charge you to test a bunch of stuff you don't want us to test. It's that if we don't test those things, this is the things that warranty visits are made of. It wasn't doing that before I brought it to you because the hard drive failed after we replaced the screen cable. It wasn't doing that before I brought it to you. It wasn't hot to the touch before you worked on it because the cooling system was failing, but we didn't catch it. These are the things that warranties are made of, and we don't like warranties. We want to get the job done right the first time. And so if we get a laptop in, for example, and we find out that it's got a bad hard drive, and now all of a sudden you're looking at a screen cable, and then we tell you the hard drive is going to die soon. So if we replace the screen cable and not the hard drive, you're going to end up putting more money into the computer. At that point, with the two repairs added together, you might choose to buy a new computer instead. So it's all about making sure you have all of the information you need up front, as opposed to every other shop in town that's going to do exactly what you ask them to do. Some of them are a la carte. Like you walk in and it's like, if you want this service, you pay this price. And the customer has to tell, it's like you're at a drive-through and the customer's like, you ask the customer, what number do you want? What's your value menu? and the customer's trying to figure out what's wrong with their own computer and telling you what to do to fix it. It's completely backwards. We should be the ones telling you what's wrong with the computer and giving you the choices. We can fix this. We can not fix that. We could do this. If it was my computer, I would do it in this order. If you can only fix some of it today, I would fix these things first and these things later. Or, I might consider a whole new computer altogether because the cost of fixing this one is not going to be in the long-term best interest of what you're trying to do with your computer. So there's a lot of different things that go into the way we do what we do at Schrock and things that make it different. So when you do come into Schrock Innovations, give us a try. When you're having a problem with your computer, we offer the first hour of labor free for new customers. So that means you can come in and we'll do the whole diagnostic, all the tests, everything on the computer. And if we come back and give you options and you don't like any of the options, you can say, no thanks, but I appreciate your time, and you don't owe us a dime. So that's how the new customer coupon works. We want you to experience what it's like to actually take your computer to someone who's competent, who is looking out for your best interest, that is different than every other computer shop out there that you may have been to in the past, including the big ones. Check out Schrock Innovations. Use the new customer coupon. If you have friends or family that have computer problems that you're talking to and they're at the graduation parties and they're like, our computer is not great, or I need to get a computer. My son or my daughter's going off to college, and now we're going to need to start to look at computers. If they're going to go into engineering, guys, you don't have to buy them the $4,000 MacBook now. They'll probably change their major. Hint, hint, nod, nod. Buy them a cheaper PC. And then once they're in their junior year, then you can say, okay, now you can have this big bad computer if you need it. But don't. Yeah, if they're gonna go into one major, trust me, they're gonna change it. Everybody does. 888-250-2091. Steve, thanks for being patient. Welcome to the program. How can I help you on Compute This today?
This is fun dealing with the government here. They're doing it where you got your TSP and OPM accounts. Like we have 4 different accounts, and login.gov requires unique email addresses per account, one for each account. And I was calling you to ask who'd be a good provider of emails where I called Cox. Mm-hmm. They don't set up new accounts anymore like they used to. You used to have like up to 5. Well, now it's what you got is what you got. So you had mentioned on previous programs about companies that have emails and you don't have all this garbage that goes along with them.
Right.
I was calling to ask, what was the name of one of those? Or
the one that we talked about on the program was called Proton Mail. Proton Mail is it's a subscription-based email program, so it's not a freebie. You have to pay for it.
Right.
But it's completely private. It's completely encrypted. And I have lots of customers that use Proton Mail and they love it. Now, on the other hand, there are free options available, like Gmail, for example, that you can use. Keep in mind that email is...
That's one. When I called Cox, they mentioned Gmail, but I'm not so fond with going to Google for anything other than looking up something.
I don't even go to them for that anymore, honestly. I use Duck for that. For a while, I was worried that I'd be missing out on something. The only thing I still use Google for is when I'm searching for maps. Or reviews. Those two things, because Apple Maps is terrible. That's what Duck uses. They subscribe to Apple Maps, and they're never accurate. So Google Maps is a little more accurate, has a little more information. So I'll use that for mapping. But when I do searching, anything like that, the results are so much different when you use Duck than what you get from Google, because they're not filtered for
right.
Wokeness or whatever. They're just the results. The results are the results. But yeah, as far as email goes, the one that we talked about on the show was Proton Mail.
Oh, okay. Well, for security, you know how the government makes things, they say they make things easier? No, they got to make it harder. Because right now I have all my email addresses under one address, and now I can't do that since they're switching to this new login.gov.
Yep, that's what. Isn't that what Ronald Reagan said? Don't worry, we're the government. We're here to help, and people quake in their boots. So thank you for your call, Steve. I really appreciate you joining us on the program, and thanks for listening. We appreciate it. 888-250-2091. Deb, welcome to the show. How can I help you today on Compute This?
Good morning.
Morning.
I was wondering, if you install Sophos, does it detect any possibly old viruses that might still be on your computer, or is it just new viruses?
Oh, no, it'll absolutely. See, one of the things that's cool about Sophos is one of the things that people have to get used to is when you install it, it doesn't do the big hard drive scan where it scans every file on the hard drive scouring for viruses. It will do that periodically. It just doesn't do it on day one, because the thing is with viruses, for them to actually activate and do something, they have to load into memory. So Sophos focuses on what's in memory, because that's where the virus, if you have a virus file on your hard drive and it never opens, well, it's not hurting anybody. But if it opens, that's when Sophos has to stop it, and then it pulls it up from the root and gets rid of the files. And then periodically it'll scan the hard drive just to make sure there's nothing sitting there waiting to activate at some future date. So no, absolutely, it's a completely different type of protection that it's a little tough for some people to get used to, because it's not definition based, so you don't need 14 updates a day, and it doesn't do a full hard drive scan when you first install it. And those two things are okay because it's a different level of protection. It's a different type of protection. The thing is, we've been selling Sophos now. We got into Sophos when we got out of Symantec Endpoint, because Symantec sold Endpoint to Broadcom, and we didn't know what was going on with it. And we're lucky we jumped off that ship when we did, because it is not going well over there. We moved to Sophos at that point. And when we moved to Sophos, since we moved to Sophos, we have not had a single customer in over 2 years get infected with anything. Not one. We can't say that with Endpoint. With Endpoint, there was always a handful a year that got infected. But with Sophos, we have not had a single person get infected since we started installing it. And that's really something with the number of people that we're protecting.
Yeah, impressive. Okay. Great. Thank you.
Hey, thank you for the call, Deb. I really appreciate you joining us on the show today. All right, Steve, you're next up on the program. This is the second Steve? How can I help you on Compute This, Steve number 2?
Yes, I'm the untechnical Steve. Hey, I appreciate your Lynn's my super technician here, or expert. I just wanted to say happy half birthday in May, because I know your birthday's in November, like mine. Anyway, to get to the point, I appreciate your honesty in telling the stories. Well, even like mentioning what happened to your father and your dad. Like some guy from Venezuela might have called me, and then the couple that comes from Lincoln. All the honesty. There's nobody like you in the business that shares so much information, technical and personal. I just don't think there's anybody else like you, Thor. There used to be a Thor on KTV that was the sportscaster.
Yeah, the sports guy.
And then there was a Thor that played down at Nebraska. He graduated. So you're freestanding. You're still standing, Thor.
Well, somebody's got my personalized license plate, though. I still can't get Thor on my truck. Somebody's got my plate still, so I gotta figure out who that guy is. Because I'm like, if I can't have that, I'm not gonna get a personalized plate that says Schrock or something like that. It's gonna be Thor or bust, I don't.
Okay, the other question I have, technical. Are you going to get on the stock market? I want to know if Schrock Innovation is going to be a stock.
Well, right now would be a bad time to do that, wouldn't it?
Okay.
We know we need to grow. We know we need more locations, and we need more coverage. We need a larger audience on the radio. We need to have a geographically larger presence before we can even look at anything like that. I'm 45 years old, so I know that, there's only so much fuel that somebody has in the tank before, you got to start bringing in younger people to help. And so right now our focus is acquiring the human capital that we need to grow, getting them trained to operate the service center. The end of this month, for example, there won't be any aftershock for a show here later in the month because my family is going to Yellowstone. For the first time in 23 years, I am going to a place that has no connectivity at all. No phone, no internet, no satellite, no GPS. And I can do that because Parker can run the service centers for me for 3 days. You know, and before I couldn't do that. I literally couldn't do that because I was terrified of what would happen to to my company. And so when you have those kind of people in place that can run the company for you, it allows me to step back and take a 3-day vacation. Or first time in 23 years, hey, people in prison get more yard time than I do. But it allows me to step back and look at the larger picture of what we want to do with this company and how we want to grow it or change it. And so, are we ever going to be on the stock market? I don't know. One thing I can tell you for sure is that the computer industry and the technology industry as a whole is constantly changing. So it's very likely 10 years from now, we might be fixing Elon's, Optimus robots, rather than computers. Or we might be, who knows what we could be working on because computers are becoming everything now, right? Even my wife went to go buy a toaster, literally a toaster the other day. And it's a 2-slice toaster, and it was $1 less to get the touchscreen toaster. Why do you need a touchscreen on your toaster? It's a toaster. But no, now it's a touchscreen toaster. So you can touch the screen and change the temperature and slide things up and down. And we have a touchscreen toaster. I guess I'm the computer guy. I should have a touchscreen toaster, I guess. I don't know. But it's kind of cool. I'm not going to lie. But if the EMP ever comes, I won't be able to make toast. That's for sure. All right. Thanks for your call, Steve. I appreciate you joining it on the program. And thank you for your kind words today. I really appreciate it. 888-250-2091 is the number to join us on the program. Now, we're going to take our final break of the show, guys. Before we do so, I want to take a moment to tell you about a program that we make at Schrock that's absolutely free. We don't charge for it. We never do. It's called Drive Advisor. Drive Advisor. You can get it at driveadvisor.com. Imagine that. And it's Drive Advisor, E-R, because it's made in America by the great MAGA king. No, I'm just kidding. No, that's Truth Social. Here they're going to make a Netflix thing now. It's like my wife... You can only get Truth Social if you have an iPhone. You can't get it on an Android. You can't get it on the internet. My wife, she's like kind of curious about it, right? So she puts in okay, let's, I'll get in line for waiting for it. Way back when it started, she still hasn't got her invite to get on Truth Social. I mean, she's not like desperately missing out on anything here, but I'm just like, really? You guys are introducing a whole new, this is like, hey, Thor, are you going to take your company on the stock market? And I'm thinking, no, I'm trying to figure out how to find 20% of profitability because of inflation right now. We're a little busy with that. I don't think going on a SPAC will be the way to fix that right now. But anyway, when we come back, ransomware, we're warning you about ransomware all the time. It's literally the bane of the computer industry's existence. In computer security, and apparently toaster security is going to be something that's going to be a thing in the future. I don't have Sophos on my toaster. Maybe I should. But ransomware has actually killed an entire college, caused it to close down forever, killed it. We're going to tell you about what happened with this college, how this happened, and if ransomware can kill an entire university or a college, what could it do to you or your family or your business? This is why you need to have the right kind of protection on all of the devices on your network, not just the ones that are important to you. We get this all the time at Truck. It's just my kid's computer. It's not important. There's nothing on there. If it gets infected, we'll just wipe it and clean it. What they're not understanding, there's a story that I didn't get to on the show today. Ransomware causes printers to become infected. It's printing the ransom note on the printer rather than on your screen. And it just keeps printing the ransom note over and over and over again, runs out all your toner. Well, what computer on the network is infected? Who knows? And once it gets into one node, one computer on the network, it can spread across the network. Had a guy in the service center tell me, well, our computers aren't networked together like that. Do you have a Wi-Fi? Yeah. Are they all on the Wi-Fi? Yeah. Well, then they're networked together. Oh. Didn't know that. Yeah. It can spread. It's a trusted network. It'll spread. So you can't rely on having protection, good protection, only on the computers that you deem to be important. You have to protect every node on the network, every computer, every tablet, every phone, or you have no protection at all, which is why it's so important to take advantage of Sophos wallets on special right now at Schrock for $99 instead of the normal $160. 37.5% off. 888-250-2091. When we come back, ransomware kills a college, and we're going to tell you all about it next on Compute This.
Drive Advisor is a free program from Schrock Innovations that monitors your hard drive's health and tells you if it's going bad. Download it for free at driveadvisor.com.
Remember the good old days when virus detection worked like Where's Waldo? Spot the virus in the striped shirt and you win. Today's infections are changing hourly to avoid detection and use social engineering to trick you into making mistakes. Using yesterday's security to defend against today's threats is like using leeches to stop an infection. It just doesn't work. We recommend Sophos Intercept X antivirus backed by Schrock's virus-free guarantee. Sophos uses the power of AI to detect the patterns of a virus attack and responds with Schrock's custom actions that stop it fast. With Sophos on your PC, Mac, Android, or iOS device, you get the state-of-the-art protection you need to defend against the most advanced attacks out there. In fact, if your device gets a virus while running Sophos antivirus, Schrock will remove it for free, guaranteed. It hasn't happened yet, and we intend to keep it that way. Ditch your dad's antivirus and keep your device, data, and identity safe with Sophos and Schrock Innovations.
Compute This Pro Tip 178. Those little life-saving surge protector strips are vital to your computer's health and should be used whenever possible, even for laptops. As computers get smaller and more powerful, they're also becoming more sensitive to dirty power, and your power is a lot dirtier than you might think. Even if you have a whole home surge protection, most power surges are generated within your own home. If you've ever vacuumed and seen the lights get dimmer and brighter, you created a surge. Surge protectors can only absorb so much energy measured in joules. When that capacity is exhausted, your surge protector becomes a glorified extension cord and needs to be replaced. You should always look for surge protectors that give audible alerts when they're no longer able to protect your equipment. Schrock recommends these because the lights on most strips are just power lights and they don't tell you when it's time to replace the unit. If in doubt, replace your surge protectors annually to keep your expensive TVs, computers, and other electronic equipment safe. This pro tip is brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, guys, I can't believe the hour has gone by as quickly as it has. This is insane, but never fear. Even though we're going to have 2 weeks of no Aftershock later in the month here, the 29th and the 5th, there will be no Aftershock because I won't be here. I'm going to record fresh shows for you, so you've got good content that's new that you've never heard before because I care about you. But there won't be an Aftershock, so we're going to make sure that the next couple are real good. So after the program is over with, if you can join us at facebook.com/Schrock Innovations, we'll do the Aftershock where we can talk about anything that we didn't have time to talk about on the program, stuff that's loosely related to computers or not. Your call, whatever you want to talk about, we can do on the Aftershock. How about that plunge in crypto, right? It's not over. Don't buy yet. Not yet. Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for Bitcoin to hit 27, 24,000, somewhere in there. That's when I would buy. That's when I plan on buying one anyway. So I'm waiting. I'm keeping the powder dry. We can talk about all that coming up on the Aftershock. Now, one of the things that we know, if you don't know what ransomware is, we talk about ransomware, but I don't spend a whole lot of time defining it because, I guess I just assume you know what it is. But ransomware is a particular type of virus infection. When it gets into your computer, it opens up files on your hard drive, pictures, documents, videos, and then it encrypts those files and saves them. So it makes them so you can't open them. It makes them unusable. And then it puts up a message on the screen that says, if you want your stuff back, you're going to pay us a ransom in Bitcoin to this address. And if you don't send the Bitcoin within 72 hours, you will never be able to get your stuff back. So you better go. Here's how you can get some Bitcoin. They give you places you can go to buy Bitcoin because Bitcoin, a lot of people think Bitcoin is untraceable. That's not true. Bitcoin is extremely traceable. Bitcoin is the absolute worst way if you were going to launder money because every transaction is on a public ledger that everybody can see. So you can literally follow an individual Bitcoin or fraction of a Bitcoin, boing, 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 boing from place to place. And it's really, really hard to wash it. Cash is really the easiest way to have illicit business, but it's a little more difficult. You can't say deliver a briefcase of cash to North Korea in the next 72 hours. But Bitcoin you can send, you can't charge it back. You can't go back and get it back off the credit card or the bank account. So it's a little easier for the criminals to get the money, basically. So that's what ransomware is. There's all kinds of different flavors and different, tactics and tricks, but at its core, that's what it is. So this college in Illinois gets hit with ransomware attack. It's a 150-year-old college. So this college has survived things like World War II. They survived the 2008 financial crisis. They survived the Great Depression. They survived the Spanish flu of 1918. And they had a major fire in 1912 that burnt down half the campus. They survived all that stuff. 157-year-old liberal arts college in rural Illinois, and now they're closed because of a ransomware attack. So Lincoln College in Illinois is going to be shut down permanently this week after financial woes that were caused by the pandemic that were magnified by ransomware attacks. So this college basically, is a rural college in Illinois doing what they do, surviving all these things, being frugal. Then COVID hits, enrollment drops, money dries up. At the same time, the students that were attending the college the college was expected to provide online opportunities for education, which required them to invest a lot of money in IT stuff that maybe they didn't have a ton of experience with. Well, guess what? Lincoln College didn't secure their IT equipment well enough. And what ended up happening is a ransomware attack happened, probably because there was a computer that nobody thought was important in a break room somewhere that employees just use it to get on the internet during break. So we don't need to protect it with anything. If it gets infected, we'll just wipe it. Not a big deal. Well, somebody got on there and went to a website in a shady part of town or downloaded something with a torrent because they wanted to hear a song or get a program or something. Something illicit happened on that computer, and they got infected with ransomware. Once that one computer was infected, the bad guys were able to probe the network, find out where the weaknesses were and what kind of stuff was on the network, and then they attacked the network. Their demand for ransom was so expensive, and the cost of remediating it if they don't pay was so expensive, that this college is just going to shut down because they chose not to install the proper security on one computer on their network. And why do you think I'm bringing you this story today? I told you I could do an entire show every week of stuff just like this that would scare the pants off you. Well, what I'm trying to get across here is it's important to have good protection, not just on the computers that you use every day, but you got to have it on your kid's computer. You got to have it on that computer in the basement that you only use once in a while, or the computer that's hooked up to your home entertainment system. It's important to have it on all the computers in your household so that you can remain safe. Today's winner, Schrock Innovations $25 gift certificate, is Steve number 2. Congratulations, Steve number 2.
From the Amish Furniture of Nebraska studio, your home for made in the USA furniture. This is News Radio 1110 KFAB Omaha, an iHeart radio station.